All right, well, we'll start again. We will start over and see if we can find her. Deborah is out there somewhere. We will find her. There she is. All right. Okay, yes, I've got you on here, but
We did it. Woo! Okay. Request has been sent in. Oh, we made it happen. Whee!
Keep singing. I was loving your music.
Yeah, it goes like this. Deborah, she's out there somewhere. She's coming from the Wi-Fi, which is a satellite in the sky. And here she is. She has arrived because phones are weird. And that's not why we're even here. But this is how we made it. Deborah Silverman, welcome to the show.
So happy to be here.
Oh, well, you've been present on my mind for the last 3 weeks because literally, it seems as every episode we've done, you have been brought up. Although I didn't get to talk to Winona about you, but you were part of her life as well. So it's
I
great to have
love
you here.
Winona. Winona.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
that's a
yeah.
powerful being.
Yeah, she dropped some serious knowledge on us last week, and you know how she is. She's just full of Winona-isms and great potent reminders
You
of
have
how to
something in
be.
common in your chart that she has.
What is that? Oh, is it the eighth house thing?
Yes, she has.
Yeah,
You have like 4 or 5 planets in the eighth house, and so does she, and so do
yeah.
I. Raise your hand. It's all the people that are interested in the dark and don't shy away.
Mm,
We
stand in front of it.
walk into the dark.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, let's just dive right in. I mean, this is such an interesting time, is it not, to be a light worker and to be a shadow worker, if you will. And I mean, what do you have to say in regards to, I know a lot of people are struggling to stay positive and to find their ground and, stay sane while they're in quarantine. I mean, how are you doing during this time, and what's your thoughts on this global crisis?
Well, I'm gonna, in true Aquarius fashion, I'm taking a different question completely. Don't you think it's interesting that you and Winona and Shailene and Trevor and Aaron and Danica and I and Emery and there's like, I don't know, 12 others, but we have found each other. This is what I want to say to your
Yeah,
audience.
yeah.
There are people that were born for this moment
Mm,
and we know who we are. This is not a
hmm
surprise. The first chapter of my book was called Crisis. I mean, my
mm,
book has sold more in the last 3 weeks. It's all about this time. I
mm,
knew it was coming. You knew this was coming. You were
mm,
born for this, Nako.
hmm hmm
Like we were waiting for this.
mm. Yeah, it's weird. Like I was doing an interview this morning actually, and they were asking me about one of my songs, and I just laughed because I said, "Gosh, it's so funny that this song is called Lifeguard," and I said, "It's so funny. I wrote that song like 10 years ago, but it literally says in it, take more than you need, an unconscious thing. Many have been silenced, but I have come to sing." And I just cracked up and I said, it's so weird and so cool and like so mystical that like, this mystery thing music that comes through and you say these things and then it just continues to stay in relevance. But then there's moments where it's like, this is actually its moment, you know? But yeah, so you're absolutely, I'm in total agreement with you on that.
For the first chapter of my book, the missing element is called Crisis. And what it says is the soul gets awakened under high stress. That's what the eighth house is. We are
Mm.
built for intensity. We don't like when things are normal.
That's, it's so true. I mean, you've been there for me, like on the phone and FaceTime, in some of my most like personally like crisis moments, and have walked me through those times. And so, I know for a fact that like I don't live for those personally like shadowed times, but like I live for them in a sense where I'm like I'm here to do that work. So throw me in there and let me try and figure out how to deal with it.
So all of the introverts or deep souls are feeling like it's a birthday party. Like, oh my God, now there's no other conversation about except for life and death. And now we're really face to face with, we don't have to socialize unless we have deep conversations or we're not talking. That's for the introverts. For the people that love depth and intensity, this is natural, and they're celebrating this. The extroverts and the ones that like control, this is really scary.
Mm. Mm.
They're struggling the most. So this is right now, what does crisis do? It makes us so scared we get on our knees.
Mm-hmm.
And we call those people the wisdom keepers, and we go, uh-oh, like, help me, where's the light? And I'm an astrologer, I live in the dark.
Mm. Ooh, I like that. Ooh, that was good.
Yeah, and when Shailene, I know you and Shailene did an interview recently. She and I did an interview, and I made this up during the Instagram Live. The Aquarian age has astrology at center stage.
Yeah, because you've said that to me before, that it's like our thing.
This is, you are in the future. You come from the future.
Ah, I love it here, though. It's so great. I love what you've done with the place.
But
I mean,
I was thinking so much about you, Nako, today. I had a great bike ride, and I was really visiting with you. And I thought, if I would have met Nako in high school, this is a crazy thought, because I'm in my mid-60s, so it's a little strange.
You could fool me with that one. Jeez.
That's what everyone says, but it doesn't matter. I'm headed toward my mid to 65. So now let's just say for a minute that you and I were in high school, and I met you. We would have gotten so bad together, and so intense, and so Pascal-like, and so like it would have been dangerous. So that was one of my thoughts. Then my other thought was, Nako is a prophet, and his music, why we are all in love with you, is you string words together, and you do time travel, and you take us places, and we trust you completely, so we follow you.
Mm.
And you, on the other hand, are this wild card where you just let shit come through. You're like, why are they trusting me? Don't they know I don't know where I'm going? But you are such a good listener.
Well, one of the things you did tell me, I think, in our first conversation, which has helped me a lot to move from a reluctant space of leadership into a stronger ownership of it, which was exactly what you just said, is that, you're like, yeah, you're this guy that's like walking on the trail, then you bust off to make your own trail, and then you turn around and there's all these people following you, and you ask them, why are you following me? I don't know where I'm going. And they reply, great, let's go. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess here we go.
So this is so cute. The Aquarius gift that you are is, Aquarius is not human, which is one of the hardest parts about being you. So while you are Cancer rising, and you give us such a deep connection to the raw love, like I know you through Trevor and through Shailene, and they're devoted to you. They're madly in love with you. Mm. And so I see that quality of love, and then I honor the quality of your non-human self, who can't figure out what is going on with these humans. Like, Nako is not he doesn't play in the same, right?
Mm-hmm. No, you're absolutely right. And because of this relationship that I've had with you, it's helped me like remind myself of that state as I surrender. A lot of the time, surrendering to what the humans have done, and what I project as a futurist. I'm thinking about, where is this all going, and how can we get there together in a way that works for everybody?
Well, this is what you bring us, Nako. So when people say to me, what is this Aquarian age? We've just entered the Aquarian era. Right. About the Aquarian age. It is those that don't tolerate the old, but they don't know what the new is. They just know what they won't do. They say no all the time. Right. I'm not doing that, not doing that, not doing that. So you probably got in trouble as a teenager. You were just
absolutely. I still get in trouble all the time, But I would also say that, this last year, I've been saying this a lot, that this sort of mantra in my mind of, we don't know where we're going, but we can go there together. And where we're going, we've never been before. And I don't have all the solutions. I just know, like you're saying, I know what we don't want to do. And what we don't want to do is what we've been doing. Exactly.
So in order for us to get to the new heaven, we're going to have to walk through hell. And that's where we're at right now. But we're on our path. Mm-hmm. We're going to go to heaven. The new earth is appearing. There's another, and you've been one of our leaders. Like, people love your music because we look at you and we see an embodiment of a futuristic prophet of sorts. I know that's a big word, but a wordsmith who gives us permission to step out of time. But then back at the ranch, it's hard for you to be in this. I was so impressed you were on time today. I thought this was Nako must be at home and he's got nothing else going on.
Oh man, I have so much going on, but
Are
like,
you being so creative?
oh man, it's crazy. Like part of my like what I've realized is my process of just being able to think, and because it's just so much stuff coming through right now. It's like
Because
so much,
everything's quiet.
oh man, so much physical stuff, so much like, yeah, so much thought stuff. I'm just like, sometimes. Like even today when I got up, I was like, and I think nature has such a big part in my own healing and in my own grounding, where I can't, if it's not raining here in Oregon, I have to be outside to do something during the day just to keep myself grounded. But ironically enough, it's weed whacking is my place of like like everything else calms down and I get into this like zen, and I'm like, because I have a huge yard and it's like, yeah, isn't that hilarious?
Because you have no earth in your chart, right?
I know. So that's I think that's why I'm so drawn to being around the earth, because it's what keeps me sane.
So can we talk that with your audience? I have a book
Yeah,
called The Missing Element.
please, absolutely.
And in the book, you identify, especially right now, do I have a gold light over my head?
You do. It's like a sort of side crown halo thing. It's
I kind of
cool.
like it. I like
Yeah,
it. It
it's
looks
dope.
cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So The Missing Element, which I will mail to you, it's all out right
I
now.
have it. Or is
But
it's a new one? I was like, I have your book. It's that, is it, I already have it. I'm from the
it's
future.
not all about
Remember?
you now. I was talking to your audience. Hello? Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
There's
gonna
a
mail
couple
everyone a
people in
copy.
the room besides you. I was talking to them. That's
Is
great.
what? Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
do you see anybody? I don't see
I don't know what
anybody.
you're talking about.
This is two air signs going wild. There's a book called The Missing Element that you cannot get on Amazon because it's back ordered. You can order it, but I can mail it to you from my house. And in the book, you will take a test where you'll identify your missing element. And the first chapter is about crisis. Why? Because we were all coming to this point. And now you get to see who you are. This is the function of astrology. When Nako understood that he had so many planets in Aquarius, permission to be strange. Well, now he was already doing that, obviously, but the permission is so comforting. I see you, and I honor your uniqueness. And you know what Nako did after he met me? We did our first session. It was so beautiful. He took the recording and he put it on an album of his called
Hoka.
What was it called?
Hoka.
Hoka.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
the beginning of the whole album.
I got calls from all over. All these people from all over the world called me and said, oh, "You're at the beginning of Nako's album." And no one told me. I mean, he mentioned something. Do I have permission? I was like, I don't know what he's talking about. Of course you have permission. So in that album, you can hear the beginning of the reading. And all of that was to say the value of astrology. And I, on my site, you can go get, I don't do readings anymore, but I have a lot of people I can hook you up with. I do matchmaking. I've trained some astrologers. The value of getting a reading at this moment or reading that book is we're all fucked up. This is not a question mark, but crisis is the doorway to the soul. Either you cave in and you feel victimized by this thing, or you step into your leadership. And Nako, you are one of our best examples of leadership. Like watching you on stage with Trevor last summer, I felt like a proud mama bear. Like I was like,
Yep.
Like if I were in high school and I knew you then, and I was part of that tribe, I clearly am part of that tribal. There are those of you watching this today, and you know that you're part of the tribe. That you wouldn't be in Nako's Instagram if you weren't. And you know that Shailene is, you know that Trevor is, and you know that Aaron Rodgers, these are all family members. We all agreed to use the power of our leadership as an example for you to figure you out. Just because we're public figures doesn't mean we're human. Raise your hand if you're human. Oh, look, everyone's raising their hand. Makes me want to cry. I don't know why human has been so undervalued and why we're so embarrassed. And this is what astrology teaches us is everybody's fucked up. I mean, I think it's kind of beautiful. I know it sounds weird, but that's not the right way to put it, said the psychotherapist of 40 years. Probably shouldn't call them fucked up, Deb.
Okay, fine. What's a more appropriate word than you think?
Dysfunctional. I think most families and most humans are dysfunctional and don't operate with a sense of being in the world as far as the four elements, being honorable, what you just said about going outside, stopping time, taking a deep breath, returning to the air with clean thoughts. That's what Nako does. You give us your music and your words. I was just listening to you the other night. I was just like tripping on your words. Like, how does he remember all that? Everyone asks you that. How do you remember all those words?
Oh, well, nowadays it's just I have to rehearse them all the time. I have to do them over and over again to remember the moments where you turn and you do the other thing. And I mean, it's the craziest part also in performing. It's like you're not just remembering the words, you're also performing it, right? And I feel like at this time in my life, I'm finally able to focus on not just singing the words with intention and all the things that come with that, but how I'm singing it, how I'm breathing, what I'm doing with my movements, and then how I'm projecting it. You know, it's a whole performance piece that takes a lot of practice. And so every time I get off stage, I'm thinking, oh, I'm marking the moments that I didn't pronounce that word correctly, or I didn't use the right breath, and I didn't hit that note the way I wanted to hit it.
Well, none of us are noticing.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's like,
it's so beautiful to be inside your experience. And all of us have a performer, and all of us have an artist, and that's what's being called right now. For some people, I'm going to go through the 4 elements. For some of you, you're an artist in your home, being quiet and creating a sacred space. Do not underestimate those introverted personalities who love to have Nako's music on or Trevor's music on, and they want to be quiet and they like being alone, and they feel like they're too emotional, too sensitive, and something's wrong with them. Beep, wrong answer. This is Shailene, by the way. Do you know that? She's all water.
Yeah.
You would know.
Yeah, I know.
That's your rising sign, your soul. It's the part that's moody and feels a lot and gets teary and can't explain it and feels anxiety and depression at worst, but at best, it's the artist who becomes the channel. That's water. Air is the wordsmith. You are so air. Air is the wordsmith, as I am, who can draw out of ethers words and put them into pearls. And at the end, you're like, what'd they say? And then they have this crazy rhythm. Air people at best are socially very adept, very fascinated, reading, studying, underlining things, remembering things. At worst, they're just airheads. What was I doing again? Where was I going? Oh my God, I forgot. What time is it?
Yeah, that stuff will come through and you're like, what? What did I say?
Yeah, did anyone write that down? Because I don't remember what I said. Yeah. That's the airhead part. So at the high level, that's the wordsmith and the poet. At the low level, that's the airhead who's dippy. Water at the high level is the meditator, the creator, the designer, the poet. On the low level of water is the emotional wreck who does drugs and escapes. Then we have earth, the earth people. I'm so controlled and grounded. I'm completely impressed with myself, and I need to make money. You're all about trying to get results, you idiots. Follow me. Oh, I need a little more research. Shut up. I'm talking. They're not very friendly. They're not very socially adept. They're control freaks. They're great at money. They're great at organization. They get shit done, but they're not the people you want at the party. So at the low level, you want to give them the dishes to do. You want to make sure they've done your schedule. You want to make sure they've done your spreadsheet. They're paying the taxes. We love those people. That's their value. But at the high level, they become philanthropists, and they give money and they share, and they go outside and they realize that money and the physical plane is not only valued, but the actual earth itself. At the low level, they're stingy and they're fearful. At the high level, they're generous and they give. And then last is fire. At the low level, fire. You've got so much fire. You have I think 3 planets in Sag or 4.
I think she has 4.
Yeah, he's got 4. Oh my God. You, Aaron, and Trevor all have. Aaron has 5, by the way.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he's so rude. Okay, so this is fire. They're blunt, they're rude, they laugh when everyone's upset, they think things are funny that aren't so funny, they don't take things personally, they eat too much, they drink too much, they have too much sex, they laugh too loud, they can't stop eating. You're like, excuse me, is there an off button? Nope, I just run hot.
Oh, yeah, I totally resonate with that one.
And they're so blunt and they're so honest and they tell the truth, and that's the mystic. You got it. You're the fire people at their best. The high level is they're inspirational and they're so blunt and so honest. At their low level, they're just miserable. I mean, they do it in this most absurd way. They act like they're happy and they're completely detached. They don't feel. They become this at their low level, they're just happy for no reason, but they're full of shit. They can't do relationship because they're just all about themselves. at the high level, they're inspirational and they're teachers. And they're funny. I have a lot of fire, just in case you're wondering.
I can tell.
Were you wondering?
Not at all.
Yeah, I'm like you, fire and air, right here.
Yeah.
Okay, kids, that was Deborah Silverman with Nako on what day?
April 9th, I believe it is.
I'm so impressed that you knew that. How did you know that?
Well, because I remember that it was basically the full moon 2 days ago or whatever it is. And
That's how you think?
I've been releasing music on the full moon, or not the full moons, but on the new moons. And so my brain for the last 6 months has been marking which days are the full and new moons.
And this reveals an Aquarian. He's a very independent thinker. There's no one else in this whole room that can relate. There's 1,000 of us. He is a unique thinker. I don't know what day it is, and I bet most of you, how many of you out there knew what day it was? I am lost in space. I'll just be honest.
Yeah, no, it definitely,
But you impressed me. Not only were you on time, but you knew the date.
Hey, I'm trying to flex over here. I'm working on my things,
You're doing a great job. If there was one thing you could do differently during this time, Nako, something that you wish that you could get some discipline around, what would it be?
Well, I mean, I'm currently working on it, which would, I guess, be time management. It's hard. It's hard because my brain is really getting fucked with right now, because it's like when I'm on tour, I have a tour schedule, a daily schedule that's very particular and very much on time, and it has to be that way. And when I'm at home, I live on 6 acres. It's like I have my other side of the brain, or whatever it is, that's like the landscaper, the gardener, the farmer, the project guy, and when those two worlds now are in one place, it's like, and then there's sort of like that subtext that actually belongs up here at the top, which is self-care and self-love. So that's like yoga, meditation, being playful, doing spontaneous things like going for walks, or whatever it is, like that wasn't planned, but it's funny because I feel like there's, in this particular time, I'm like, okay, how do I like get all these things that are like racing through my brain of like what, and there's only so many hours in a day, and I stay up till like 2 or 3 in the morning because I'm a night owl. And then I get mad at myself for waking up at like 9 or 10 because I'm like, well, you lost like some of the most important hours of the day. What are you doing? And then I'm like, it's okay, it's fine. Just you got lots of time. It's fine. It's okay. Nobody's rushing you. Everyone's staying at home. It's fine. Just don't even worry about it. And I'm like, but you could have done so much more. What are you doing with your life? Oh man, it's like the two different voices that like, you need to do. No, you're fine. What you need to? No, it's okay. But it's just chill. It's like, you know what, guys? Just take a break for the day, okay?
And here we have live time, the various voices that live inside Nako's head. I think everyone was relating to this. So I want to give you permission to sleep in. Here's your elder talking. You are allowed to sleep in. And I really want you to, and I have this intuition that I wanted to share with you, that you should be, if there's some repetitive, simple chant that you could do every day for just maybe 10 minutes, if you put a timer on, don't let yourself be creative, but just get yourself super calm in the empty with the tune, with some kind of like one note or something very, and if you make a practice of it, because I get the feeling that you need to empty completely just for a minute and then go back to your day. But if that could be part of your ritual during this next period, I think you're going to see yourself commanding. There's a way to be in your power spot with your mental body, because you are a walking channel, and there is clear energy everywhere right now because the stimulus is so far down, and and you're also very disciplined. You know that about yourself?
I mean,
I don't
sure.
think you let yourself. No, I don't think you think you're.
I'm pretty hard on myself, so it's.
I know. I see that.
The places where I say to myself, "Good job," it's few and far between.
What year were you born? I'm looking at your chart.
86, and I think like I'm learning that too, where I'm going like, yo, you did plenty today. Like I'm one of those people that it's like I could do like 10 million things in the day, and still at the end of the day I could say I could have done more.
Because your life lessons, Earth, you got to go back to that book. You don't have to. This cycle, I'm giving you a reading.
I know.
How'd that happen? this moment in time is about you being willing to slow it down way more than you think is normal. Because I know what you think is slow as a joke, but, and then in that place, make your list a little less ambitious. But the most important thing is those 10 minutes of that chant. What, some simple, boring,
Yeah.
don't be creative during it.
Right. Well, it's also great that you bring that up because I'm actually currently in a 21-day meditation challenge with Deepak Chopra. And so I'm like literally doing that already. Like it's like every day I'm doing one, and it was gifted to me from a friend. And so that has been like the first like 5 days, it was like difficult because I'm crazy and my mind is just always moving. And, you know, to empty it, it takes practice because there's a lot of shit going on up there. And so I'm like, you know, emptying it out, and he gives you the mantra of the day, and it's like, yeah, it's a 15-20 minute thing. So that now that I'm into it, it's like I get to actually do my yoga, and then I get to do the meditation, and it's been
So
really
Neko,
helpful.
here's an announcement. You're way more disciplined than you know, but you have a should, man. And he never, ever goes away. That's your life lesson.
Oh, the shit guy? Yeah, oh man, he's hilarious.
And who pays him? How come he works so much?
I don't know. Because
I mean, who does he
he's a
even work
workaholic.
for?
I don't know.
What's wrong with him?
Is there something wrong with him? Really? Oh, it's that drive. It's that desire, the insatiable desire to like feel something has been completed.
So this is the thing, because you're part of the future and you're worried at a subtle level to make sure you're going to fulfill your promise. Nako, you've done it. Like you being here with all of us listening to you, you've inspired so many of us to have our hearts be open, to think about kindness, to be in a community, to know that medicine is being with the people. You've done it. If you died tomorrow, you will be in the front row. They'll be like, Nako, come with us. But your little ego doesn't believe me.
Oh, it's funny. There's that fire coming in, just laughing at everything. I'm like, oh, it's hilarious.
It's all you're so lucky. Humor is the sign of a sage because they know this is a joke. That's Sagittarius. Like both Aaron Rodgers and Trevor have the most terrible sense of humor. They think things are funny. Well, you probably have this too with all that Sag. That's not really funny, but they laugh and you kind of think it's funny, but then you kind of got your feelings hurt, but not really because you knew they were being funny. I don't know. It's confusing.
Yep.
Instead of just saying straight up, I'm so sad. Like this is probably the scariest. Now I'm an elder, so I know not to worry. But if I tune into the zeitgeist, there's no end in sight. We can't figure out how life will recover. We don't know if it will, and we don't even know if we want it to recover, those that are awake. So there's no comfort because even the ones the elders that knew this would come, we can't quite get our hand on the future. And then there's the futurists, and then there's the ones that are scared, and then there's the financial distress, and then there's the distrust that this could be orchestrated. But here I'm here telling you as an elder, I promise you this was organized from above, way above. They've been watching. They didn't know how to get our attention. It's so sad. They didn't know how the trees burning down wasn't enough. The hurricanes weren't enough. The climate change announcements, Greta coming, like no one seemed to listen to anything. So they got us. Makes me want to cry. I always want to cry. Mr. Cancer Rising, does it make you sad?
It does. You know, I feel like there's like a collective pressure that I feel too, you know. I haven't had a cry yet about it. I think I'm sure I will soon. I find myself crying at the most random things. I was telling Winona the other day that I was watching a movie and I said it was Emperor's New Groove, but it wasn't. It was actually Onward. I watched that Pixar movie Onward and I was like crying at the end of it. Not really because of the story or anything like that. It just sort of was at that peak moment of the movie where like they figure something out and it sort of resolves. And I was like crying and I was like, why am I crying? It's just a cartoon. And I was like, because you need to cry because it's everything right now. And I was like, oh, leave it up to fucking Pixar to make me like tap in deeper. Why though? How does that work? I don't understand. But here I am. My mom was sitting next to me. She's like, honey, are you crying? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, you're hilarious. I was like, but I'm feeling it.
I'm so happy to hear that. I'm not like, I've cried every single day. and with no content. Yeah, I'm just, I like that I'm human and that it hurts. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds weird, but that's your soul, Mr. Cancer Rising.
Mm-hmm.
Can we let, as a group of humans, can we let ourselves be human without, because that's what Mother Earth, she was screaming and yelling, can you stop?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody listened.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, like I didn't listen.
Yeah.
I was flying around.
Same. Yeah, and that's the weird part of our jobs too, is that we have to sort of surrender to this way where we're like, well, I'm hearing it, but how am I going to go service and the people and do my job if I can't go and fly there or anything like this? So it's like
It's all justifiable. Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. She had to make some big moves, and yeah, I think we've touched on this, but it still comes up for me of, you know, where this puts us. I think a lot of people are afraid. I know I'm part of me is concerned about it too. Is like, if once we recover from this, we're afraid that we're just going to go back to something, you know, that was before. And I don't know what to say to that, because I think about that all the time. What does the elder have to say about that?
Elder, the only thing that I've done, I've made a promise to myself that I would every day, as many breaths as I could take, I take a deep breath and say reset. Like, I never want to forget this. I want to put this new practice into my awareness, that I keep taking deep breaths and saying reset, because that's what she's asking for. She's asked for a reset. Like, I want you to stop. And I don't want to forget this. I want to carry this on forward. And I don't know how to do it yet. I mean, I say things like, I'm going to fly less. And I'm like, really? What are you going to do with me, the woman that has to go be with all these people? So don't make it difficult. Just say to yourself, like in the case that Nako, in his water, his cancer, he's going to spend this meditative 21 days. That's so profound, Nako. And that you get to sleep in, and that you get to feel like you like take the pressure off Mr. Shoodman just for the next 21 days. And then,
I like that.
Yeah, and have 2 glasses of orange juice, organic.
Oh, okay.
I made that part up.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, and then, yeah, I think the hardest part of the story is my human is on her knees. And this is the first interview I've done that I've been honest. I felt like I've been full of shit in the last few days. Like, let's all try to have fun. Okay, I'm going to clean the house, and I'm going to cook every night, and I'm going to, like, Yoga, another one of our community members. And then I suddenly realized yesterday, I'm full of shit. Like, what am I going to really, like what you just asked, what am I really going to do when this is over that will be different and I'm not full of shit? So I did this breath thing, like, reset, start again. Don't ever forget what happened in that moment. Like, let's keep that going for the rest of my life. I'm never going to forget that. I must listen to her. Help me listen to her. The moon's in Scorpio today. And that just makes me want to cry. I don't know. Then I feel like I'm a bad kid. Like,
why?
Because I didn't listen to her. I knew this was coming. I didn't know how to. I feel like
Wouldn't you say she's also very forgiving?
Yes, I hope so. I don't think she likes me anymore.
Sure about that.
I mean, does she like any of us? Like, have we really been respectful? Have we really been on our knees? Have we really listened to her? Really? I haven't. I'm sorry. Please forgive us.
Well, and it's easy for us to justify how difficult it is to follow through with some of these more clearly, like, I guess, like obvious things to do, whether it's like go to the garden or, you know, drive less or like whatever it is. It's like, you know, we could say, oh, but society makes it so difficult for us to do X, Y, Z. And it's like, there has to be a majority agreement that says we will do this together.
Which is why I'm so glad you're doing this podcast. Look who you've been on. Did you do Yoga Girl yet?
Yeah, Rachel was on Tuesday.
You're amazing.
And we actually made a list together. Well, we had this idea of making a list of the things that, it was like the list of the sacred list of things that changed. I forget how this went now, but it was like things that didn't go back to the way they were. That was the airhead of me. the things that didn't go back the way they were, which is like you basically saying what you just said about the shit list.
Yes. So so let's just take a moment and do a prayer to ask for forgiveness for all of us. We're asking for forgiveness if we didn't listen well, if we didn't know how to respect the mother, and she woke us up. Please be gentle with us and help us to stay true to what you're asking of us. We give ourselves and our yielded heart to you. We're on our knees now. There's enough of us whose heart has been touched. Please help me to stay true and to not return to the disrespect. I want nothing more than to honor the feminine, the mother, the slowing down. Thank you, Nako. That was so beautiful. Forgive us. Forgive us. We're doing the best we can. We're such idiots. Who designed us in the first place? This is so stupid. Why do we have so many voices in our head and they don't get along with each other? There's no governor there. The thing works over time. They don't pay it, but it doesn't seem to ever stop talking. And then when you finally want to get to the point of quiet, you have to have a fucking virus to come get your attention. That's dumb. Who made that up?
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine, but it's all divine, I suppose.
I love that you were sitting next to your mom. I have my kids home too, and I hate to say it, but I'm having the best time ever. To think that I can have dinner with them, like they're stuck with me.
Yeah, yeah. How's that been? You sound like you're having a great time.
You know them, you met them. So they're about to buy a house. They're dreaming about buying a house right now. She just got a scholarship from CU to have no debt to go to medical school.
Wow.
The #1 kid they picked out to give a full ride to.
Now that's
and she's
amazing.
Working with children. She wants to work with children, with neurology, with psychiatry, with children. I think it's beautiful.
How many kids do you have?
Oh, about 15, including you.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
The point of that story is, this is so important. Please, all of you that love Nako and are following Deborah and Shailene and Trevor and Aaron and Yoga Girl, please be sincere in this point of time. Take up the leadership. This is what's going on more than ever. This is the Pluto, you've heard about it. Yes, Jupiter and Pluto conjunct in Capricorn. Anyway, the point is, what I keep saying is, they're asking for a new government. They're asking for us to fix my phone. Because we're doing this for so long, because you bring out the best in me.
Oh, this has been so good. I don't know, you can totally sidestep this question, but I thought of it earlier today because I thought it'd be really funny / interesting, because everything's funny to me, to ask you this, because I know that you don't do readings anymore, but knowing that Donald Trump is a Gemini.
Yes.
What is your take on his sign and how his behavior is, and his behavior, I guess, is the question.
You're the only one to ever ask that question. It's my favorite question. I think about it all the time. I know his chart by heart. Ready?
Really? Okay, yeah.
He's born under a full moon.
Wow.
So he's Gemini. Whenever it's a full moon, the sun and moon are opposite each other. So he has sun in Gemini, moon in Sag. What is Sag known for? Blah. They have no control over their mouth. Then he's Leo rising.
Oh, wow. So he's so extra.
The hairdo. Always wanted to do that.
Oh my God. Keep going. Go on. Yeah.
And he has, not only does he have Leo rising, but he has Mars, the warrior planet, sitting in Leo in the first house saying, me, 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 me. He's perfectly himself. Wait, it gets worse. Right. He has Uranus. That sounds funny, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
When he was born, Uranus and the sun were standing exactly together. It happens once for a week, once a year. Gemini, sun, Uranus was in Gemini. They were standing together. It's a representation for breaking all the rules, no control knob, destroying things. No filter. He's doing exactly what his chart says. So
and he's loving this.
No one's going to like this next sentence. Ready? I kind of like him.
Because he's so himself.
He's completely himself. And I don't tell anyone that, but of course everybody's listening to us.
Well, we don't have to agree with what he's doing, but we can agree that it's just he's literally just being himself, which is
100%. Just right. Like Hitler's chart. Hitler had 4 planets in the 8th house.
Oh, damn. He loved that dark stuff. No wonder.
I know. That's
So,
weird.
okay, so he's, yeah, I mean, it's not, it's just,
They're being their charts. If we
yeah.
could just, this is Aquarius, you'd understand this. If I could stop the judgment, this is not an easy thing. If I could suspend my left brain, that noise machine, the factory that keeps on saying all that shit that the guy we don't know who he pays for, just
Right.
turn that thing off.
Mhm.
And I activated my higher observer, neutral, bird's eye view, I would say this planet is in a wonderful moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's finally stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And look at all the contributing factors,
Mm-hmm.
including him and the virus. And it's being gentle. It could have got the kids.
Right. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it could have been worse. It could have been worse. And I mean, with all of that, all that stillness and all that stuff we've been talking about, what would you say to everyone listening as an important piece for them during this time to be considering as we move through this moment?
Such a great question. You're good at this. This is where my book, The Missing Element, comes in. Figure out your personality type. Give it all you got. Don't worry about how it fits into society. Society's broken,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not.
Mm-hmm.
So what Nako's doing, he's playing his music, he's doing his practice. You just devote yourself to yourself right now. I'm telling you. And astrology, I told you my new line. The Aquarian age has astrology at center stage. I made it up. I feel like Nako or Trevor. I got the like Sting. I got great, words.
You do. You have great words.
So if astrology is the answer, I mean, it sounds dippy and contrived because I'm an astrologer and I have a host of astrologers I can refer you to on my site. Go figure out your nature and give it full, let yourself show up. We need your tapestry. We need your uniqueness, not have you, there's no work. Go do your writing, go do your poetry, go do your yoga, get outside. What is your favorite things to do? Go do the gardening, go clean up, go build something. You can figure out what you've been wanting to do for the last, oh my God, I have a discount on right now for this week to learn astrology. You could do this. This is what Shailene did on Interview. It's they send it to you. You put it on your computer and you take the steps. It's baby steps. And by the end of this program, it only takes about 3 weeks. You know astrology. Oh my God, Nako.
So tell us what your website is.
It's called Deborah Silverman Astrology. Deborah Silverman Astrology. But this is called Interview, INNER. The course is called Interview. It's on sale for this week.
And we can find it on your website.
I think so.
Well, we'll take notes.
Anyways, that would be the answer. One of the things you could do, forget about it if you don't want to take the class, but go find out, go study the elements. Take yourself back to basics. Go back onto the earth. Be quiet. Stop complaining. This is totally what's meant to be happening right now. Don't let your mind get numb. Go read. Get a good book. Go see a great video game. Permission.
And where can people find your book? They're asking as well.
Amazon sold it out, but you can put it on back order. But if you order it on my site, I will mail it to you tomorrow with your chart in it. I give everybody the chart.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much for doing all that.
But I just want to say that when we were in high school together,
yeah,
you were such a rascal. And mine, she was like, you cannot hang out with him. I was like, oh, yeah.
Watch me do it.
Yeah. Like you'll never even know when I came in or out of the house because I'm so tricky.
Oh, man. The life of the two air signs. Woo!
I know. I'm so thankful.
I can't believe we even made it out of school.
I know. I cheated.
Well, it's because I helped you.
I remember. I thought you were going to say that out loud. I thought it was a secret.
Well,
okay, kids. It was my pleasure. Guess what time it is?
It's time to get back to work.
Bingo. To get back to play.
Yeah.
This weekend's going to be a double fire weekend. The sun and moon will be in fire for Friday and Saturday.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, Saturday and Sunday. So be aware that the energy's up this weekend and creativity will be flourishing. So today and tomorrow, you can take a time. It's Scorpio. It's okay to go deep in. I'm glad you guys listened today. Like this and tomorrow too. It's just everything. Slow it down a little bit. And then the weekend we are on fire.
Yeah. Oh, that's good to feel. Mm. Well, thank you so much for hanging out today and spending all this
Anytime.
good
No,
time.
anytime. This was too much fun. I would do this anytime with you.
That was really great. I think in reading some of the comments and just feeling it from this side, I know that a lot of people were really stoked to hear what you had to say today. So, and we all needed to hear it. It was good reminders and good information. So, thanks for taking the time, and we love you so much. I miss you. I can't wait to see you soon.
No, I'm sending you aloha all over your house.
All right, Mama. We'll talk to you soon. Love to your family.
Aloha.
Aloha.
I know how to push this thing to make it go away. I'm gonna